The baby. And no, not the rapper.
Is you wearing the Huggies, bro?
These they lie. See, look, today I ain't got on the Huggies. I had the Huggies on the other day. Today I got on the pull-ups. I'm a big boy today.
The Baby is a brand new HBO series that's coming out pretty soon. I want to read the description for you really, really quick so that you'll get the flavor for what this brand new insipid series is all about. So Natasha is furious that her closest friends are all having babies, but her life implodes when she unexpectedly ends up with a baby of her own. Controlling, manipulative, but incredibly cute, the baby twists Natasha's life into a surreal horror show. She soon discovers the true extent of the baby's deadly nature and makes increasingly desperate attempts to get rid of it. Making things creepier is Mrs. Eves, the 70-year-old enigma who has spent the last 50 years living out of her car and seems to be everywhere the baby is. Natasha doesn't want a baby, but the baby definitely wants her. Dun dun dun. All right, so here is the trailer for the new HBO series, The Baby.
I'd like to go over your statement. The woman fell from the cliff, followed by the baby, which I caught like this. 2 police officers are dead, Natasha. A boulder had fallen on them.
You think I crushed them to death with a boulder?
I think there's something you're not telling me.
We'll have a fun time together, won't we? Yes.
What?
You can trust me with your baby.
This isn't my baby, Reese.
Well, it is.
Are you happy?
I don't know. It's just a lot. All the time. Forever.
Let's pop him on the table. Just a routine checkup, dear.
Doesn't like anyone touching him.
You give him attachment issues.
He bulldoze your life, destroy your relationships. And when he's got you to himself, he'll destroy you.
Gosh, they are wonderful, aren't they? Do you do skin on skin? The bodily connection between mother and child.
All right, so as you can tell from the description I just read to you and the trailer that I just showed you, this series is more than just a comedy, but rather it's a satirization of motherhood that seeks to mock women and one of their most prominent and important roles in society, that is having children and raising children. So the actor herself said this in a article about the new series. So, quote, "When I first read the script, it was so refreshing and it was such a different take on what it is to be a caregiver and what it is for someone to end up with a baby," said the actress who leads the series as the character Natasha. Quote, "She didn't want the responsibility of looking after someone. So even though she had this small human bestowed upon her, that wasn't enough for Natasha." And I thought that was something that was really refreshing, to see a woman not charmed by a newborn baby. All right, so here again, we see this small human bestowed upon her, and that not being enough. It wasn't enough, huh? The responsibility of helping a helpless baby wasn't enough, and we're supposed to think this is what a good person looks like? So that's the suggestion, right, in all of this, that these silly little babies, they creep into our lives and they ruin everything. I'm supposed to be okay with that inconvenience? Yes, you self-centered miscreant. That should just be a part of what a good human would say. But we know that the pro-abortion community certainly doesn't say that. Abortion is not a matter of rape or incest for these people, but simply a matter of convenience. So yes, the left fully believes that a baby should pay for the sexual liaisons of people. If you ask me what a leftist is, I'd tell you right now that it's a group of people that no longer believe in rational truth, and that one of the primary ways to tell if somebody is a leftist and that they do not believe in rational truth is this issue here. If they think a defenseless baby should pay for their indiscretions, then you are a leftist. So a couple of things about this series. So I think this series is yet another foolish attempt to lie to ourselves about reality. Yes, motherhood is difficult. It comes loaded with a cachet of responsibilities that place impositions upon moms and dads and all people. However, only someone who has never had a child or is insufferably self-centered could ever hold a baby in their arms and think anything other than that this is a small miracle that deserves love and attention and affection. In fact, there's a name for women who actually don't feel that attachment to the babies that they give birth to. It's called postpartum psychosis. It's actually a mental illness. And by the way, it's really, really rare. So most people, when they have babies, they see that baby and they love it immediately because they know that that baby is part of them and they have an ingrained responsibility to it. So it's only normal and healthy to love that baby and want to care for it. So sure, kids are work and stressful at times, but they're one of the greatest parts of life and they actually help keep the world going, oddly enough. So when we stop having them, it's kind of a problem. The second thing is this, is resentment and the removal of responsibility is what's destroying us in the West, not children. So purpose is derived from responsibility. To run from it will constantly leave us wondering what life is all about. So you don't have the right to avoid responsibility. You are given freedom so that you can explore responsibility. The modern left wants to talk about rights all the time. I have the right to be called by this pronoun, and I have the right to do this. Rights is always about making other people do something for the left, but never about what they need to do. Very often, I think the distinction between the left and conservatives is that conservatives believe that rights bestow upon them the freedom to undertake certain responsibilities. So there's another way you can tell a leftist from somebody that's not. But the third thing is this, is wokeism is truly a suicidal proposition. The birth rate is in decline, and it shows a troubling trend. Elon Musk just recently spoke about this a while back, so here's a clip of him doing that.
Yeah, so most people in the world are operating under the false impression that there are too many people. This is not true. Earth could maintain a population many times its the current level. And the birth rate has been dropping like crazy. Unfortunately, like we have these like ridiculous population estimates from the UN that need to be updated because they just don't make any sense. Really, you can just look at, say, what was the birth rate last year, how many kids were born, multiply that by the life expectancy, and say, okay, that's how many people will be alive, in the future. And then say, is the trend for birth rate positive or negative? It's negative. So that's the best case, unless something changes with the birth rate.
And here's some stats to accompany Musk. So you can look it up yourself, but the increase in singleness and single living can be directly related back to the decline of religion in the West. And here's some stats about that. In 2021, we experienced the first year since the 1930s where the US population grew by fewer than 1 million people. Only 18% of American households are composed of married couples with children, down by 40% since the 70s. The percentage of US adults living at home with a spouse is at 50%, down from 87% in the 60s. 50%, guys. Maybe one of the reasons of this singleness too can be related back to climate change. So the UN is calling for code reds, and Harry and Meghan, of course, just the darlings of the left, said that they're only going to have 2 kids to try to limit their carbon footprint. And then you have AOC, the brilliant genius that she is, coming out and telling us that in 12 years' time, the world will be totally destroyed. Another one of the troubling trends in society right now is, according to the Guttmacher Institute, which is a pro-abort organization, 862,000 abortions will take place in 2017. So, and according just to Planned Parenthood alone, 20 to 25% of American babies will be murdered before they take their first breath. And in New York City, more black babies are aborted than are actually being born. So no wonder we're in a little bit of decline, and no wonder we're seeing the birth rate in America quickly decline. But the self-centered and secular view of motherhood that continues to invade all of our sensibilities is this sense of entitlement, this sentiment that our life would be much better without the entanglement of duties that motherhood would force upon us. That continues to pervade all, and this series is just the latest attempt to make fun of something that ultimately will come back to slap us in the face. A while back, I did something about mother scream events. Well, when we constantly try to malign the role of women in society, guess what happens? But here's the point. Ladies, the things on your body called a womb say that you were created to have kids. I'm sorry, it's just a part of biological science. So yes, it's a part of your God-given identity. So quit suicidally rejecting the obvious. Self-harm has been mainstream because we're desperate for meaning, and we will go to great depths to find it, refusing to reach upward to the great things that God has called us to, and constantly making everybody else pay for our decisions. And so it is truly suicidal right now that we're maligning motherhood and extolling the virtues of singleness at a time where we need women, especially post-COVID, to understand that reproducing and bringing children into the world is a great moral good.
You can catch brand new episodes of Indie Thinker with Reed Huberman every Monday and weekly bonus episodes to keep you thinking throughout the week. But you have to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when new episodes drop. If you enjoy this content, make sure to like this video and share it with friends.